Hi, welcome. My name is Dr. Lori, and I'm here today with Kai, who is Keith Zafren's son. Keith Zafren is the founder of the Great Dads Project, and Kai volunteered. He said, well, my dad's a great dad. I want to tell you all about it. So I said, well, let's do an interview. So Kai, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Tell us, what makes your dad such a great dad?
Well, the fact that he loves us a lot, and he does everything he can to make us feel loved and to please us.
So what are some of the things that, when are the times you feel most loved with your dad? What are some of the things he does, or what are some of the things you do together that you just feel so loved?
Well, I'd say golf, since that's one of his most favorite sports.
Yeah.
And he's taught me to enjoy it quite a lot. And I love playing it with him, and whenever he takes me out, it makes me feel loved.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So doing things that you really love to do together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think your dad might be able to teach other dads about being a great dad?
Well, he could teach them to relate to their kids' love languages and give their kids the love languages that they receive love in, and not just give it how they through their love languages.
Lots of people don't know what love languages even are. Do you want to tell us, how do you even know about love languages? And tell us what is a love language? What's yours?
Okay, so my dad taught me about love languages,
Uh-huh.
and in the car he asked, all right, well, it started as a conversation, and he said, so there are 5 love languages. There's affectionate touch, words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, and gifts. And he kind of asked, what are the orders that yours go in? And I'm not sure which one is highest for me. It's either affectionate touch or words of affirmation.
So what does that mean? Like if you receive love as, you know, with words of affirmation or affectionate touch, what are the kinds of things you really want your dad to do if those are your love languages?
Well, for words of affirmation, I definitely want him to give me compliments, but not just lay them on for something that I didn't quite do. I want him to say them for great, like, for example, let's say I'm playing soccer. Let's say I do a great play and a not so great play. If he says, oh, that was an awesome header, you almost scored for the great play, that would mean a lot. If he says, you did great on that other play, I'd be like, Dad, you're just trying to make me feel better. And it would make me feel better a little bit, but not super much.
So being specific and being really honest, right?
Yes.
And being praised.
Yeah.
And you're a hugger. I mean, I know Kai, he's such a great guy, and he's not afraid to give hugs and show affection. And I think that's because his dad has always shown him so much love and affection. I've seen them together, and they're just so loving towards each other. So what are some of the things that you love your dad doing around you and with you that makes you feel loved with affectionate touch? What are some of those things? Because lots of dads don't know how to do this. Lots of dads feel uncomfortable with that, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what do you like to do, and what's fun for you with your dad?
Well, how he gives me affectionate touch is often we're driving in the car, and of course he's a great driver, so he can do this. He takes one hand off the wheel and he just reaches back and kind of pats my leg or holds my hand for a little bit, and then he starts a conversation, and that's meaningful to me, the affectionate touch.
That's awesome. And in turn, you're able to give a lot of affection to other people because you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Your dad isn't just an author and a presenter and a teacher of great dads. He also has a painting business. And I hear sometimes you go with him on jobs and kind of just to get a feel for what he does. And then your dad told me a story that I'm wondering if you're willing to share about one time when you met one of his customers. What happened?
Oh, yeah. So, my dad's painting business was actually his first business before he started the Great Dads Project. But as soon as he started it, he realized the Great Dads Project is really what he wanted to do, not the painting business. He still keeps it up for a little bit for profit. But once I went with him just because he was checking up on a job, you know, maybe putting a couple lights in. And I was waiting in the car, and I read a little bit on my Kindle, And then I was like, what's taking him so long? So I went inside, and I met the customer, and he said, well, we started talking, and one of his questions was, do you think you'll be a painter when you grow up? And I said, I have other dreams. And we kept talking for a while, and then I helped take paint off around these posts for stairs. And eventually he started saying, like, you have a great dad, his work ethic is amazing, he has great customer service, he listens, he's just totally amazing. And I don't quite remember how, but somehow I brought up the Great Dads Project, and I said something like, well, he does his painting business, but he started another project called the Great Dads Project, and he wrote a whole book about it. And I think that's his favorite job. And this customer said to me, like, oh, my dad's an author too. And, well, me and my dad had a falling out a couple years ago because he was a police officer and he wanted me to be one or something, and eventually I quit or whatever. I don't quite remember what he said, but he said he didn't talk to his dad for a couple of years until his mom, or he had to tell his dad that his mom died in a plane crash, and they became really close again. And so my dad and this customer swapped books, and he had a baby with his girlfriend, and so he wants to learn how to be a great dad about it. So I think I might have gotten my dad one more customer for the Great Dads Project, and I hope that dad learns a lot.
Oh, well, it sounds like he could. You are just such a well-spoken young man.
Thanks.
I can tell your, words of affirmation have probably helped you to develop your own vocabulary too.
Yeah.
So you mentioned golfing with your dad and going out and doing really cool things with your dad. What are some other things other than going to paint bids and going golfing with your dad? Times when you're with him that you feel the most loved. What are some things that you do with your dad that you feel, oh, so loved?
I'm not sure if I feel totally love doing this stuff, but I really enjoy it, and I feel love hanging out with him.
Nice.
Well, we go bowling, and I enjoy that. We get better every time. My dad is a great bowler, and I just love hanging out with him. It's so fun to go bowling with him and just hang out.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So doing things that you enjoy.
Oh, yes. And he also takes us out for birthday getaways sometime around our birthday. When we're like 1 to 9, he takes us out for one day. But once our age involves 2 digits, he takes us out for 2 days, and we get to spend the night somewhere with him. And I really enjoy that, and that makes me feel so loved.
How cool. So what are the things you've done for your birthday getaways? Can you think of when your favorite one was, or?
Well, I definitely remember my least favorite.
Oh, what was that?
It was a time where we went out to this UK soccer game, and then we went to my favorite restaurant, Olive Garden, and I wasn't feeling so well. And then later in the day, I threw up because I was sick, and that ruined the rest of the day. So that was by far my least favorite. But usually we go golfing and out to Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And
you get to choose.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You get to plan it all and get to choose all of it. So that must make you feel.
Sometimes he gives, like, say, how about we do this? But he doesn't force it or anything.
Yeah.
But I remember last time we went underground ziplining in these caves in Louisville, and it was so fun. The only thing that was a little bit creepy about that is I'm scared of falling from really high heights and dying. So that was a little scary for me, especially since it was in the dark, but it was awesome.
Aww.
And I loved it. And I might go again this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're turning 13 pretty soon, hey?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Sounds like you've done a lot of really fun things with your dad.
Yeah.
So many kids don't have that kind of relationship with their dad. In fact, a lot of dads just don't even know how to communicate with their kids or how to have a great relationship with them. And I think it's even harder for a lot of dads who are divorced from their children's mom and they don't get enough time with their kids. So what advice would you have for dads who want to have a better relationship with their kids?
Well, that was kind of 2 questions, so I'm going to answer the first one
Okay.
real quick. So, this has 2 parts. If the dad doesn't know how to start a conversation or doesn't feel comfortable starting a conversation with his son, then, I would start talking. If I were the dad, I would start short conversations, maybe ask one question that the son answers and it doesn't lead to a big conversation. Ask 1 or 2 and maybe definitely try to find out your kid's love languages. Tell him the 5 and let him choose which ones he knows the most, and then start using those, and that might help you feel more comfortable talking to your son. And if your son doesn't feel comfortable talking to you, again, start short conversations, ask 1 or 2 questions, and find out his love languages. But make sure for you to start the conversation. Don't wait for him. And I hope eventually he or she will get more comfortable talking to you. And I hope that you will get more comfortable talking to your son or daughter if you have trouble talking to your kids.
Nice.
And then
the second question was about divorced dads.
Yes. So for divorced dads, I would definitely say to the people who are watching this interview, try to make your kids feel the most loved you can in the little time you have with them, or just the time you have with them, and find out their love languages. Use them. Let them pick some things to do. Cook for them. Just do all sorts of things that make them feel loved, and hopefully that will make it so you can have a good relationship with your son.
One of the things I know that you've mentioned to me about your dad is how he's always texting you when he's not with you, or not always, but he texts you and to find out how your day is and things like that. He does stuff like that, and I think that's meaningful to you. And then he's always planning time with you, right? He takes the time to really plan it. Is that something that you think other dads should maybe do, or do you have anything to add? Or
I just remembered something, or thought of something that for divorced dads. So let me say that real quick, then I'll go to this question.
Absolutely.
So if you're a divorced dad, definitely try to get more time with your son. Don't just say, oh, okay, I get this time and this time. Push for more, but not too hard. Okay? And then for that next question, my dad does text me, or we have one phone that all 3 boys share since there are 3 kids, and that's meaningful. Like sometimes I'll go into my brother's room, ask for the phone, and I'll just, once I remember one of the first times I had it, I was texting Dad. It was kind of late, like at 10:30, and I texted him once. Well, I wasn't expecting a response since he goes to sleep early. I got a response. I texted back, and we stayed up for maybe 10-15 minutes just texting. A text was going back and forth every minute or so, and that was really fun for me.
Nice. So just those little things make a big difference to you. They make you feel closer even though you're not together.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure talking to you today, Kai. Is there anything you want to say in closing, or you feel like you've said it all?
I think I've said it all.
Okay. Well, thanks again for coming and for spending this time with me today. And thank you for stopping by and spending some time with us.
Yeah. Bye.